Can anybody tell me who the number one team is in college basketball? Of course, the rankings say the Duke Blue Devils. But when you look at it, is there really a number one team? You had Jared Sullinger and the Ohio State Buckeyes. They were the number one ranked team. All of a sudden, they lose, and you have Kansas. And then they lose. Then you have Texas, who, oh yeah, they're going to be number one. They lose. So it's like, okay, Ohio State will be number one. They play Purdue, and they lose again. So now it goes back to Duke. But this Duke team is not the same Duke team they were at the beginning of the season when they were number one. When they had Kyrie Irving, Nolan Smith, Kyle Singler, and Seth Curry, you couldn't beat this team. And you had those Plumleys everybody wants to talk about. They were the best team. But Kyrie Irving got out. Who do you have now? Kyle Singler's very overrated. Yes, he's the number 6 all-time Duke player. Maybe he's number 5. I'm not sure where he is in scoring. He is a great player, but this season and last year, he hasn't really done a lot. Seth Curry hasn't really done a lot. I mean, he had the big game against North Carolina, but other than that, he's not been a preliminary scorer. Like I said, Irving is out. You have Nolan Smith, and Nolan Smith's not going to have the game of his life, week in, week out, game in, game out. He's not going to do that every single week. That's why I don't think the Duke Blue Devils are really the number one team. I mean, they've lost 2 games. They lost to St. John's, which what ranked team hasn't lost to St. John's? They nearly lost to North Carolina that was a very scary game for Duke Blue Devil fans. And then they lost a division game. I think it was to Maryland. Anyway, they lost a division game. It might have been Georgia Tech. I'm not sure, but they lost a division game. Anyways, that's why I don't think they're the number one ranked team. Ohio State with Jared Sullinger, I would have said so. But now they've lost 2 games. I don't know. I mean, maybe Kansas or Texas. I have no clue. Really, it's wide open right now. Everybody wants to say San Diego State because they have 1 loss. They really haven't played anybody, and the one big game they played against Jimmer Fredette and BYU, they lost. I did mention BYU. They're a good team, but they're kind of, they haven't really played anybody. I don't know how they would do with an Ohio State or a Duke, somebody like that. I don't know how they would do. North Carolina is rising through the rankings. Yes, I'm biased. I'm a Carolina fan, but they are rising through the rankings. They're slowly progressing. They had an ugly game, but they've won. They're moving their way up. They have the Wolfpack Wednesday night. But as far as the top teams go, I'm really not sure. It's wide open this year. Last year, you kind of knew who was the better team. In 2009, you knew North Carolina was the best team. This year, you really don't know. I mean, every time you get ready to say that's the best team, they lose. I really don't believe Duke is the best. They're a good team, but right now, without Kyrie Irving, it's kind of tough for them. I think Ohio State and Jared Sullinger, I think they'll be okay. Texas and Kansas, they're kind of, maybe. I mean, it's unknown right now, really. I mean, when it comes down to big games, they lose. So really, I don't know what to say about the number one team. I just had to kind of address this. I don't really know who's the number one team. Maybe some of you out there who know, maybe you guys know who is the number one team. I have no clue. Leave your comments below. Please tell me who is the number one team in the country. I have no clue. I haven't seen the number one team in the country. You can put a number up there all you want, but until you perform at the highest level and you play like a number one team would, that's when you're number one. I want somebody to tell me who is the number one team in the country.